Hey guys, what's up? It's Katie and I'm back with another Marvel Contest of Champions video, and today I'm continuing the Act 5 series with 5.3.3 Dire Warning. Now I'm making this series for a few reasons. The first is to familiarize myself with Act 5 because I get a lot of questions about it, and I did this content so long ago that it's hard for me to remember. And also I've got some friends that have, started playing the game, and there are a lot of new people that have first joined and are looking for some good Act 5 content. So I'll be doing my best to, go over the past, the bosses, the nodes, and that sort of thing, and some relevant champ information that is pertinent to 2019. So the first thing that I want to do is go over this spreadsheet that I have created. Now, there will be a link to it in the description of this video. I have all the paths laid out with the champs that you'll be fighting, the nodes that go along with it, and also if you scroll down here, a link to all of the, a description of all of the nodes that are featured in that. So you have that there. There's also a map that you can go ahead, click on, download, and use it so that you can scout out your paths so you know what mobs you'll be facing and what champs are good against those mobs. So I also have all the paths. There are 5 paths in 5.3.3, and I kind of have them labeled as what I think is the easiest and what I think is the hardest. Now, I will not be going over each path in a video. I may do that in later content, but for right now, it's not really necessarily needed. If you want to take a look at one of the videos, there will be a link, a timestamp to that video. So if you just want to shoot over to that, you can go right to that too. So now 5.3.3 requires you to have a diverse roster. And the reason for that is because of the global node X gene, where all classes but mutant reduce their attack by 50%. So, and this chapter also, I should mention, has keys. So if we take a look at the map here, you can see right here, you've got, a tech key and a mutant key and that sort of thing. And there's another key up here, which is a skill key. So you're going to need 3 keys for this map. So like I said, this map, there are 5 paths. Some are very short and some are a bit longer. The easiest one, in my opinion, to clear is path 1. There are some noted fights, but you can get to the boss by taking out basically only 5 opponents. Like I said, the global one for this is X gene and will gimp all champs but mutant by 50%. So on path 1, which we have labeled in green, so you start here and you come up here and you shoot on over to here, is Nebula. And Nebula has Recovery, Enhanced, Special 1, and Parry. Not too difficult to deal with because her Special 1 is pretty easy to evade, and you can cancel out her regen by stunning her. But be careful to time your attacks properly because she can stun you with Parry. Alright, so then we go from Nebula on over to Star-Lord. Now these are tech, so you're going to be gimped a little bit, but if you don't have a good mutant to counter, you can bring in a Cosmic class, and the class advantage will help you recover some of that 50% damage reduction. Okay, so then we move on over to Star-Lord, and he's got Combo Lock and Combo Shield with armor. Now, Combo Lock and Combo Shield just means that neither your combo nor his combo meter will be reset after getting hit, and he's got some extra armor, but that's pretty easy to deal with. And then we go ahead and move over to Iron Man, and who has Enhanced Armor, Armor Break, and Recovery. Now this fight can be tricky because it will cause you to have classes disadvantage again, and if you use a mutant and the regen he gets to, you're basically gonna have to kill him twice. He does have the standard armor up, so it's pretty easy dealing with, okay? So then we shoot on over through here, and now this is kind of like a choose your own adventure. You can choose to go, this way and go through Yondu, or go straight down and go through Winter Soldier, come this way, right here, and go through Hulkbuster, come this way and go, through Cable, or come straight down and go through Dr. Voodoo. Now, I chose to go through Dr. Voodoo, and because Voodoo and Rocket, they are they're not noted. They do have links from right over here, but they just have armor, so it's nothing too serious. And then you come on here and you go to the boss, which is Rogue. Now be careful right here because it happened to me twice. I did get ambushed by Ultron, so just be wary of that. Okay, so then we have path 2, which is labeled in red here. And path 2, all of the mods have, or excuse me, they have, you go through Magneto, Ant-Man, Red Cyclops, not too hard. Ant-Man is going to be kind of a test of endurance with that glancing. And you go through Gamora, watch her special 1. If you get clipped by her special 1, it can do a ton of damage. Mordo, be careful not to stun him unless you bring in someone like Iceman. When Iceman has a cold snap on Mordo, he can counter his astral evade. So as long as you have that cold snap on Mordo, you can parry him. And we move on over to Drax. Not too hard. Both of his specials are pretty easy to dodge. Gambit, be careful of Gambit's special 1. He can stun you. And then we come over here and we go through Blue Cyclops and Scarlet Witch, excuse me, and both remove nodes down here to path 1. So you could essentially remove those nodes from path 1, and when you come over here, go through those. So then Dr. Voodoo and Rocket are both unnoted. It's kind of however you want to do it here. And Scarlet Witch, you're going to want to bring a poison immune champ because she's going to heal block you. So definitely want to bring in someone like that. Omega Red would be great for that fight. And then we come here through She-Hulk. Now She-Hulk removes Combo Shield and Checkmate from Rogue. And then you come on here, and like I said, you can either pick one of these. If you have, you know, a tech key or a mutant key, you can go down this way or this way. Or, you know, I chose to go straight down the middle through Winter Soldier, who has Heal Block, Optimist, and Pessimist. And then Elektra, who also has that, and then on to Rogue. But it's really your choice. Now with Winter Soldier, definitely bait out those special 1s. His special 2s do a ton of damage. Elektra, if you have Suicides on, be very wary of her. You won't be able to parry her as easily. Okay. So path 3 and path 5 I have a video on, so we'll go over that a little bit later on. And then path 4, we come over here, excuse me, we shoot up over through here through A-bomb. So again, you're gonna want you know, a poison immune champ, and then you go through Venom. Bait out that special 1 over the special 2 if you can, because Venom with his special 2, I've said it before, but he converts all the buffs he has into Furies with his special 2, so he's gonna hit you, and he's gonna hit you hard. We move on over to Hood. Definitely bait out the special 1. Don't push him to being, you know, invisible with that special 2. And then Joe Fixit, another easy champ. OG Spider-Man, be careful of the evades. He's gonna evade you, so, you know, someone like Iceman, again with the cold snap, you know, get that cold snap debuff on him. He won't be able to evade you. Ghost Rider, not too hard there. And then we shoot on over here to Thor, Jane Foster, and Dormammu. And Thor, Jane Foster, and Dormammu remove armor from Rogue. And Dormammu, they're both not too hard. Just be careful of Thor, Jane Foster. Try pushing her to her special 2 and baiting out that special 2. It's much easier to evade. And then we come on over here through Electro. Now you're gonna wanna have someone who's, you know, pretty high health or a regen champ with Electro, because you're gonna take a lot of that damage. And then we come over here to Moon Knight. Now Moon Knight removes recovery and enhanced crits from Rogue. And then we shoot on down through here. And again, you can kind of choose your own path. I chose to go through Hulkbuster and Deadpool X-Force. Now, Thor, Jane Foster removes, what's she remove? Oh yeah, armor from Hulkbuster, and Dormammu removes armor from Deadpool X-Force. I misspoke earlier, I apologize for that. All these lines get me confused sometimes, just kidding. So if you move those, they become unlinked, and so they really don't have anything, you know, too much. The one thing you gotta worry about with Deadpool X-Force is when he gets down to 30% health, he's going to get that crazy power gain. So make sure that he doesn't have more than 1 bar of power when he hits that. Otherwise, you're going to push him to a special 3, and you're going to eat a special 3, and that bleed damage is going to be bad unless you bring in someone who is bleed immune like Iceman. And then we come on over here and we shoot back through Rogue to the boss. Okay. So now let's go ahead and take a look at path 3. So I'm gonna go ahead and load up the video here for path 3. So with path 3, we start out with Psylocke with Cornered, Power Reserve, and Limber. So you wanna be careful of your parries because you're gonna lose a certain percentage of the stun with that Limber. So be careful of that. Definitely try to push her, bait out a special 1 over the special 2, but with Cornered and Power Reserve, it's kind of hard. You don't want to bring in champs that are going to put a lot of debuffs on unless they're heavy hitters like Domino. Now, because both your, if you can bring in a power control champ, that would be great. So you could even bring in one of the visions here, and that'll help you out a lot. Even though they're not mutant, they're still tech, so they'll still have the class advantage. So that'll be helpful for you, you know, negating some of that 50% damage reduction. All right, so now we're moving on to Old Man Logan, who has, again, cornered, power reserve, and limber. So again, try not to put any debuffs on him, you know, to trigger that cornered. And definitely watch his specials. Don't play too aggressive, because if you play too aggressive, you're going to push him to a special 3. Bringing in a heal block champ is gonna, you know, help you out a lot. But even here with Winter Soldier, the damage is still kind of not all that great, despite having class advantage. Someone like Yondu would really be good. Just fire off those special ones and get those heal blocks going. Even though you're gonna put a bleed on, it'll still help you out a lot. Someone like Starkey too. Starkey would be a great option for this. Build up your poise charges, and then, you know, you can stun them with the special 1, build your poise charges up to 10, or launch your special 2 and just watch the damage roll. But Old Man Logan, overall, he's really not a hard fight. All right, so now we're moving on to Storm. And she has cornered, power reserve, and limber. Now Domino is really good for this path because she can bypass that limber and has a nasty special too. So if you've got a Domino, she's great for this. Even if you know, 550 Domino will work out well. You don't need to bring in a 5-star for this. She'll work really well. Just again, be careful. If you have problems dodging Storm's special 2, as soon as she goes up, dash back. All right, so now we're moving on to Archangel, who has cornered, power reserve, limber, and special lock 1. Now I know what you're thinking, special lock 1. Don't like the sound of that. Actually, you can use this to your benefit, because you see we have that little debuff with Omega Red right there. So if you need to heal up a little bit, use that special lock 1 debuff that is on you, because you'll heal up from that. It is a non-damaging debuff. So if you have willpower, you will still heal up from it. So heal up to where you need to be before you launch your special. Now, of course, I did get clipped there, and that was no bueno. But with Omega Red, it's not terrible. I am healing up a little bit, so... All right, now we're moving on to Beast, and like Archangel, he has cornered, power reserve, limber, and special lock 1. So same kind of theory as Archangel, just be wary of Beast's special 1. If you do get clipped by it, he's gonna stun you, and it's gonna be pretty much over. So overall though, Beast isn't a hard fight. Both of his specials are pretty easy to dodge. I prefer pushing him to a special 2, despite the fact that that's, you know, his more defensive state, but it's just easier to evade. Sometimes I can get clipped at the end of his special 1 there because I don't dash back far enough. But, you know, any champ will really work against Beast. Pretty much any mutant, you don't have to really worry too much about it. Domino is great for this path. Psylocke would be another really good option for this, because you could just chain throw special 1s at the power rate that you're getting and that they're getting. So you'd be perfectly fine with that. All right, so now we're moving on to Cable, and Cable has cornered, power reserve, stun immunity, strike back, enhanced special 1, and special 2 bias. So this guy is kind of a jerk, and he's probably one of the harder fights on this path. So definitely try to bait out those heavies. Don't bring a bleeder in here. Do not bring a champ that bleeds in here. Otherwise, you're gonna get that degen on you. So be wary of that. I did push him to a special 3 there, so you definitely want to watch out. Him having power reserve, if you're trying to play aggressive against him, you can end up pushing him to a special 3, because he can also get that power gain buff. So be wary of Cable. He can get the power gain and the regen buffs, and so yeah, that can not work out too well. Now, enhanced special 2 and special 2 bias means his special 2 is going to be unblockable. So as long as you dodge the first part of that special, you'll be okay if you're not great at dodging the full part of it. All right, so now we're moving on to Magneto, and Magneto has cornered, power reserve, stun immunity, strike back, and enhanced bleed. Be careful you don't get clipped by his specials, because those specials, if you get that bleed on you, it will kill you. So definitely try to bait out that special 1 over the special 2. He's got a nasty special 2. You'll even take a good bit of block damage from it. So just be wary of that. Definitely want to be careful what debuffs you put on him, because you see there that pushed him almost to a special 3, which would have been probably the end of Domino. So just be wary. If you're not that great, again, at dodging his special 2 and you're afraid you might, definitely go in and try to practice, you know, when you're in arena or whatever, practice baiting out that special 2. It's going to help you out a lot here. All right, so now we're moving on to OG Deadpool with Cornered, Power Reserve, Stun Immunity, Strike Back, and Recovery. So he's gonna recover like crazy. As long as he's got power, he recovers a good amount of health. So definitely try baiting out that special 1 so that he's minimized on how much power he's gaining. Now, Archangel is not really the best champ for for Cornered, due to the number of debuffs that you put on your opponent. They're gonna gain power like crazy. His neurotoxins, yes, will shut down Deadpool's regen, but overall, it's gonna be a really fight of baiting out specials. So just kind of keep that in mind. And he's going to be chain throwing them, which, you know, can work out to your favor. But you see, I pushed him to a special 3, and I was really hoping that Archangel's special 3 here would kill him. But yeah, it's not good. Just trying to get some hits in there before he launches his special 3. All right, so now we're moving on, and this Ultron is not on the map. I got ambushed by him. I'm not sure if you get ambushed by him every time, but for this path and path 5, I did get it right before the rogue boss, and each time it was this Ultron. Now, he's not noted, but if you're only running mutants, you're gonna have the class disadvantage, and it's gonna be problematic. So you may just want to bring a cosmic champ on your team just for this fight, just in case he pops up. So someone, you know, like Venom would be good. Any cosmic champ that's going to do a lot of damage, be mindful of his evade, because he can't evade, and it is a giant pain in the butt. So just be wary of that. But overall, this Ultron's not too bad. Just be aware that he may pop up right before the rogue boss every time. All right, so now let's go ahead and take a look at path 5. Now, the first mob we come across is Falcon. Now, all of these paths, up until you get to Yondu, you have Heal Block and Rolling Thunder. So for the majority of this path, you are going to have the class advantage because all of the mobs are skill. So if you bring in all mutants here, you're gonna have the class advantage, but you should probably bring in at least one cosmic like Venom, and I'll tell you why here after this. But overall, these mobs aren't that hard. The heal block is off of their specials, so as long as you don't get hit by their special, you won't get heal blocked. All right, and so now we're moving on to Black Widow. And so again, she's not gonna evade you that much if you bring in a mutant. So she is gonna evade a little bit, so just be mindful of that. But Black Widow is really not a hard champ to fight. If you do get clipped by her special, like I said, you'll get heal blocked. But you know, any mutant will do fine here. Domino's a great option for this. In fact, Domino's pretty good for this entire path. Archangel would be another really good one to bring in since they're not stun immune, just, you know, parry heavy, rinse and repeat, launch your special one. So he's a really good option for this. All right, now we're moving on to Crossbones. And with Crossbones, excuse me, you definitely want to bait out that special 1 over the special 2. It's a lot easier to dodge. Be wary that when he has his Fury up that he can shrug your parry. So definitely be careful of that. Omega Red is another really good champ for this path. Iceman, he's another good one. There are a lot of really good mutants out there. Namor, obviously, is good for this. Havoc would be decent too. There are a lot of good mutant champs out nowadays. Emma is another good one. So just be mindful of, or just keep that in mind. All right, so now we're moving on to Karnak. And so Karnak's not that hard. Definitely just, you know, keep him at his special 1. Don't push him to that special 2. If you're not great at evading that special 2, you're going to take a lot of block damage. So just keep trying to push him to that special 1 and bait that out. Usually with Karnak, once you get him throwing special 1s, he starts chain throwing them. It's a lot like Hood. As soon as Hood throws that 1, he's going to start throwing the other one. So I just kind of was a little bit aggressive here with Omega Red. All right, now we're moving on to Gwenpool. And Gwenpool's Again, she's not a really hard champ to fight. The only thing you want to be mindful of is, you know, when she's down to that last little bit percent and you launch your special, she's gonna still be alive unless it has a DOT, like, you know, something like Archangel with a bleed, or, you know, a neuro, something like that. Otherwise, she's gonna come back and start punching you in the face. All right, and so now we're moving on to OG Daredevil. And again, he's not a really hard mob to fight. Definitely though, if you have a champ who just throws projectiles off their specials, make sure to parry first, otherwise he's gonna evade you. So someone like Iceman, you know, you can't fire that off right off of a 5-hit combo. You're gonna wanna parry first and then launch it. But overall, Daredevil, not a hard fight. Both his specials are easy to dodge, so kind of pick your poison, which one you want to, you know, bait out. You want to go more aggressive and try baiting out that special too, go for it. Rogue is really good for this because, you know, she can power drain off her special 2 and life steal off of her special 1. So if you're getting kind of a little bit low on health, just go ahead and launch that special 1 with Rogue, get that health back, and you'll do some damage. All right, now we're moving on to Punisher. And again, like the rest of the mobs on this path, he's not that hard. The one thing you want to make sure of with Punisher though is that you bait out his special 1 over his special 2. Both his specials you're going to take a good amount of block damage from, but at least that special 1 you can, you know, dodge the punch and block the bullets. I know it's fully evadable. I'm just not that great at it. I think I've maybe done it once and that was all out of pure luck. So, all right, so now we're moving on to Yondu. And this is where I say definitely try to bring in a cosmic champ, or definitely bring in a bleed immune, because Yondu's got collar tech, which gives tech champs a field that inhibits enemy power gain by X, debilitate, and enhanced bleed. So you're definitely going to want a bleed immune for this, because even if you block, he can still bleed you through your block. So keep that in mind. So someone like Iceman would do really well here, even though his damage is kind of meh, but you know, you just bait out those special 1s, you'll still take a ton of block damage from that special 2. So just be mindful of that, but try to get, you know, if you bring in Iceman, try to get as many frostbites and cold snaps on as you can. You know, if you feel like you're going to push him to a special 3, make sure you have your ice armor up so that you only take, you know, 5% damage from the fight, or excuse me, from that special 3. All right, so now we're moving on to Vulture, who has Resonance Cascade, Stun Immunity, Immunity, and Physical Resistance. I don't know why he has both Stun Immunity and Immunity. It should just be Immunity, but whatever, kabam. This is going to be a test of endurance and patience. This is where loading up a Cosmic to help you deal with these last 3 and even that Ultron ambush would be a good option, because you're not going to have to worry about the next mob on the path, which is Starkey. You wouldn't have to worry about his evade with Venom. So if you have Venom, I highly recommend you loading him up for these last 3 mobs. Now, Vulture's got a ton of armor. Definitely try to keep him at a special 1. It's pretty easy to evade, but this is just going to be, these last 3 are going to be a test of endurance and patience. So just keep that in mind. Whereas, you know, the first mobs up until, you know, Yondu were pretty easy, and then it gets a little bit more difficult, and then you got to deal with a boss who's really not that hard, but we'll get into that when we get to her. So, but overall, this isn't that hard of a fight. It's just he's got a lot of stuff going, and if you have all mutants, it's gonna take you a little bit longer, and it might be a little bit rougher. So you may want to, like I said, load a Cosmic up just for these last couple fights. All right, and so now we're moving on to Starkey, who's got Insecurity, which is whenever a taunt debuff is applied on the attacker, it drains X% of their power over X seconds. Arc Converter, which is similar to Strike Back if if the Stark Tech AI is active, and then Mirror Image. So definitely try to bring in a Cosmic. Like I said, Venom would be great for this. Iceman is good if you can keep the cold snap on him. It'll stop his evades. But overall, Venom is probably the best bet for this fight, since he can stop those evades. You know, all the Spider-Verse champs won't evade against Venom. So he's a good option for these last couple fights, with the exception of Yondu. And you definitely don't want to push Starkey to his special 2. It can be kind of difficult to evade, and you're going to take a lot of damage through the block. So try to keep him at his special 1 if you can, and if you do get clipped, you know, mind you, if he does a 5-hit combo and puts that taunt on you, you're going to have your power drained. So try not to get clipped, you know, by Starkey. Watch his evades. If you bring in Venom, that'll help you out a lot in this regard. All right, so now we're on to the Ultron ambush. And again, you know, we talked about that with Path 3, so just be mindful that you can get ambushed by that Ultron. So now we're moving on to Rogue, and we removed aggressive, but she still has recovery, enhanced crits, combo shield, and checkmate. Now, this is another one where the mobs on the path are actually harder than the boss. So this is a pretty, despite, you know, the nodes, this is a pretty standard Rogue fight. Just be careful of your parries. Watch she doesn't shake it off too quickly, come back and either parry you or punch you in the face. We've all had it happen to us. I know I've had it happen to me numerous times, so just be mindful of that. But really, any champ here is gonna work. Domino is a great option for this because her special 2 is just nasty once you get that critical bleed going. So, but again, any champ will work out fine. Any mutant against Rogue is a good option. But Rogue, she's really not a hard mob, or excuse me, a hard boss to fight. But that's all that I got, guys. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of this guide? Have you gone through Act 5.3.3 yet? If you did, who have you used? Will you be downloading this map? What champ suggestions do you have? Let me know in the comments below and let's discuss. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching. If you guys liked what you saw and you want to see more, please remember to like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter and hit me up in the Discord chat. Thanks, guys. Bye.